call to order the May 24th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We'll start with the reading of the Statement of Purpose.
May our decisions today be made with wisdom, careful deliberation, and in the best interest of the city of Diamond Head. May we display patience and kindness in our dealings with each other and all who are in attendance. And may any decisions made today promote the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Diamond Head and enhancement of the city as a whole.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present.
Commissioner Torgerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Hector, Commissioner Lael. Present. Commissioner Bennett,
Present.
Chairman Flowers.
Present. Okay. The next order of business is the confirmation or any adjustments to the agenda. All of you should have a copy of that. Is there anything that we need to change? If not, we do need a motion and a second to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next on the item on the agenda is the approval of the May 22nd, 2022 minutes, which all of you have a copy of. So, and we do need a motion to approve and a second for that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Abstain? Yeah. Okay. Motion passes.
Chairman Bennett, did you want to abstain from that since you weren't opposed?
Sure, yes.
Okay. Okay, moving on to new business. Our first item of new business is Taco Bell, represented by Gulf South Signs LLC, has filed an application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance, Article 4.19, to allow the construction of a monument sign within 0 feet of the property line, 2 wall-mounted signs not on building frontage. The property address is 4500 East Aloha Drive. The tax parcel number is 131E, check 1, check 13, check 006. .002. The property is in a C1 zoning district. The setback for the monument sign is 10 feet. The variance requested is 10 feet. Wall-mounted signs are only allowed on building frontage. The variance requested is to allow 2 wall-mounted signs on non-frontage walls. The case file number is 2022000200. Okay.
You waiting on me?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Mm-hmm.
This was requested by, of course, Taco Bell, represented by Gulf South Signs, who are with us tonight. Our ordinances say that the monument sign must be a 10-foot setback from the sidewalk or from the property line in this case. They really don't have 10 foot available here because of the exit for the drive-through here. So that's the reason for their request. The second ordinance states that attached signs to the building can only be on frontage facing sides of the building. Okay, so for in this example, that would be East Aloha only, and no other place. Okay, so that's the reason for their request for a variance on that.
Okay. So,
So we have Mr. Jack Grimion from Gulf South Signs
okay,
here to speak for Taco Bell.
okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for allowing us to be here. Jack Grimion. On this request, as far as the monument sign goes, look at the layout. It's a narrow piece of property, and to develop the layout that we need it got down to where there was just no room for a setback. We did actually look at the property again today, and if you're looking at the site triangle to see if there would be any issues with people exiting the property, the monument sign should not fall into that site triangle. So I think we're good from a safety standpoint there.
Okay.
As far as the building signs, if you look at your packet on the building elevations, you have the side that faces the street allowed a sign is the drive-through side, and then on the front of the building, that corner, Taco Bell builds a tower, and it's been pretty much standard to have signs on both sides of that tower, because as you're driving towards that area where Rouse's is behind you, you're pretty much looking straight at the front of the building. And that's the main reason we wanted to continue to have that standard, that Taco Bell carpet pretty much request. And then the third wall sign would be on the main entrance side, which would be facing where the shopping center with the True Value Hardware store is.
So True Value is south of the Taco Bell.
Your signs block the ones in back.
I think I need to turn that off.
No, ma'am, it's a 8-foot sign. You'll have the drive-through lane and then the building right behind the sign. So when you're looking at the monument sign, you'll be seeing the building behind it above the sign. The sign's only 8 foot high, so it shouldn't block any of the other businesses.
Okay. Any other questions? Pat, did you have?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll move to the podium.
Okay.
Discuss it a little bit more. All right, this is a picture of the Taco Bell sign, the monument sign. As you can see, it's 8 feet tall by 10 feet wide. So, and it would be located right on the property line, close to the exit of the Taco Bell. Let's see if we can. All right, that's what it would look something like there, okay? Except that's mounted on a pole, but it would have a monument base to it, okay? Right there shows, well, let's talk about the monument sign first. We have asked for other businesses coming into commercial district to use the 8-foot setback for monument signs. This kind of prevents the clutter on the sidewalk, et cetera, like that. And I don't think we've ever granted one that's had a 0 property line that I'm familiar with. Now, the monument signs are recent as of the city being formed in 2012, so it's only 10 years old. Those that were there before were grandfathered in, and they have a variety of signs. But if you look, Dollar General's got the monument sign. It's 8-foot setback at least. Hancock Whitney Bank has one. It meets the setback requirements. So those that we have installed in recent years have all met the setback requirements. So while we appreciate the fact that the Taco Bell sign, they want the sign there on there, let me go to another area here.
Quick question, the monument sign will be southwest of the southwest corner?
No, it would be the northwest corner.
Northwest corner.
Northwest corner.
Right, northwest corner along East Aloha. So if you look here, this is the conceptual design that Ryan came up with the revision of East Aloha as we have it now. The progress of making the East Aloha is going on right now, construction phase of it. And what you would have then is you would have, where's my dot? Okay. You would have along the street, you'd have the sidewalk, you'd have some parallel parking here, but then the majority of the parking would be in the back here. But if you had this right there on the edge there, I mean, I hate to use the word, but it adds clutter to the street. And that's not what the rest of the signage is going to look like on the street. So it's out of character for that. And when you look at the reasonings behind, you know, every time we grant a variance, we have 5 factors to look at. And I can't find that any of these factors apply in this case. The factors being that do special conditions apply for the land or structure in question, and no other surrounding or similar, are not subject to no other surrounding or similar properties. As I cited in the case, Hancock Whitney Bank, Dollar General, they've all complied with that.
Mm-hmm.
They talk in here about fair competition. I would say that sign would provide them a competitive advantage over other properties. And if you look at the other criteria there, would it not give them any special privileges? My personal opinion is yes, it would. So if you look at those factors, I don't see that it qualifies. So therefore, my recommendation, the staff recommendation, is to deny this variance.
On the tower side.
On the
Or the
on the
monument
monument
side, I'm
side.
sorry,
The monument side. And I should explain that. We're going to take these separately, okay? Just to kind of keep things straight.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the staff recommendation on that. Any questions regarding that recommendation?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Oh, Grimia?
Yeah, if
Yes,
you
sir.
don't mind.
Certainly.
Is monument sign as designed, requirement of Taco Bell?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any other place that you guys have that should be looked at for that?
That's about the only strip of ground that's not either the driveway or parking. And because even on the, I guess that'd be further to the northeast side, it's just there's no ground to put it on.
Okay. All right,
So just the way the shape of the property is just limited.
I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, actually, I do have one question. How close is the property to the sidewalk, the street? Is it 20 feet, 30 feet? The building?
Oh, the building.
The building.
You have the 10-foot strip of ground
Okay.
plus the driveway, which is the drive-through line about 15 feet, about 25 feet to the
Okay.
property line.
Okay, because I'm wondering if a monument sign is needed, if it's close enough to the road that you can see the other signs on the building. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other
Okay,
questions?
Jack, before you leave, I understand this is a national standard, but does every Taco Bell in the nation have a monument sign? Because I know there's some cities that don't allow monument signs.
I can't speak for all the Taco Bells in the nation, but I do know for B&J Foods, who's the franchisee for this location, I don't think there's any stores of the 170 so stores that they have that does not have either a pylon or a monument. That's been pretty much a standard on the design.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay,
All right, any other questions there?
No.
So that 10 foot is going to be right on the sidewalk is where it's going to be, okay?
mm-hmm.
And that certainly is not the type of design that Orion, or when we accepted this as our 40-year plan, was not the type of design that would be there. This is supposed to be a walkable sidewalk, little parallel parking there, but you walk up there and go to the different places, see different things, okay? You got the trees, you've got all that, and then I think the monument sign would be a distraction to that and not in keeping with what we have envisioned for this.
Okay, and this would be on the sidewalk or right up against? the
Right up
sidewalk?
against the
Okay.
sidewalk. Okay?
Okay. So would you like us to vote on each one of the?
No, we'll
Okay.
just do it overall,
All right.
okay?
Okay.
Um,
So the wall-mounted signs.
Yeah, the wall-mounted signs. Okay, let's go back to that real quick. Okay. Our ordinance state that you can have wall-mounted signs, and they have to meet some square footage requirements, et cetera, but they have to be on building frontage roads, okay? And East Aloha would be the building frontage here. So East Aloha is running along the, how come I can't ever find that dot? Okay, East Aloha is running in front of the building here, okay? There's a drive-through. Ours will be a double drive-through, okay? But the sidewalk here is like East Aloha, okay? So therefore, you can have the Taco Bell sign on the tower. Okay, on the tower facing the street, okay?
Right.
You need a pointer?
Give me the pointer.
Thank you. Poor substitute. Okay, but the other sign, which will be facing west, back towards Kalani, will be not a street frontage, okay? That's just gonna be a entrance into Taco Bell in the shopping center there. So that is not a a street frontage facing sign. So therefore, by ordinance, it is not allowed, okay? The other request here was signage on the back, the bell, the Taco Bell over the entrance, okay? We are a little ahead of ourselves with this Aloha District design and the ordinances. Our existing ordinance does not allow this. However, I have spoke to Orion today and the people planning that, and the people working with us coming up with the Aloha District ordinances, or that we're going to redo the sign ordinances too. The concept is to have two front entries, okay? Now, there's on the street frontage side will be the drive-in, but they do have this patio on the front end here, okay? So that will be on the entrance as well as this one here. So what we recommend is, instead of having it on the tower there, that we would allow the Taco Bell and the bell above it, or just Taco Bell, however you want to do it, on the face of that building there, of this side of the building.
Where the single bell is?
There we go,
Okay.
right, that's where this,
Okay.
okay? That's what we're recommending, is that, and we would allow that by a variance. And based upon the fact that this is the conceptual design of how we want the Aloha District to look, and it would fit in well, okay?
Okay.
I can show you, let's see, let's go here. Oh, an example of what we're talking about. All right, now this was taken, this is Hardy Street in Hattiesburg. USM is to the left there. But there it shows you, this is their Midtown District, I believe they call it. And you can see the shops, the buildings, et cetera, along the right-hand side there, okay? You can see that there's a sidewalk there separated by a little fence, because that's a major street, okay? It's not gonna be East Aloha. At least East Aloha is gonna be we're gonna slow that street down, okay? With the parallel parking, with the landscaping, et cetera, okay? So as you can see, gonna go, yep. I thought I had another one. Okay, I guess I don't have that. My apologies. So anyway, on the opposite side of this building, away from there, you've got entrances on the backside, just as we have envisioned. If you'll see there, the whatever that dining place is on the right-hand side, it's got the columns. They have both of those are front-facing street signs, okay, wall-mounted signs. They don't have any monument signs there. On the backside, you've got, it's just like the front. So there are two entrances for every business there, okay, and signage for both, okay. That's what we envision the Aloha District to look like, with all of these, okay. Moving ahead. Okay, with all these businesses right here and on the other side. That you come in and you park here, you park back here. Also, there's going to be a road here, a city road coming in here. We envision to have some of these buildings in here too. But all this is to say that this is a walkable area, parking in the rear, entrances in the rear also. So therefore, we are recommending what I just said. Take that tower sign, move it to the side of the building. That's our recommendation. Not to approve that tower sign, but to move those two signs to that sign and approve those two signs.
Okay,
Is that clear, Samad?
yes,
Okay, good.
okay.
Now, that's the end of my recommendation. Any more questions?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Rich. Okay, so,
Agree on this.
I'm sorry, yes, sure.
One of the things we'd like to see if you would consider is that, listen to the argument about the monument sign being up against the sidewalk, being 10 foot wide. Would you consider a smaller monument sign to where it would be a few feet off the sidewalk? Make it small to where it would have a little bit more recognition from the traveling public.
I think that would be a different request, wouldn't it? Or is that?
I'm going to have to say the staff would not support that. The monument sign in that district is not in keeping with that district.
Gotcha.
No matter
Okay.
what. If today, if they could meet the setback, we would approve it. Okay, because we have to, because the ordinance says we have to approve it. But because it does not meet the setback, the staff is not inclined to approve any variance whatsoever because it's not in keeping with the character of what we're trying to do with that street,
I understand.
okay?
Thank you.
And thank you. Okay. Commissioners, any comments, any more questions?
So let me ask one quick question. So we're talking about not having, is there going to be signs on that first tower though when you turn in, or not at all?
No, so the front-facing tower, oh, you're talking about where you turn in,
Like
like
the
you're going to
picture
True
showed?
Value.
Yeah.
No.
So there's
we're
not gonna be any
We're
signage
saying
it's all
deny
gonna be
that
shifted?
sign, but you can move that sign to the side of the building that's facing True Value.
So if they move the tower to that corner, they could have the tower with two facing signs on it.
No, you have to have the wall-mounted signs must be
Street facing.
street facing. Thank you.
Mhm.
Street facing.
So the tower would be where the tower was in the picture,
Okay.
and you would have the one sign that's facing East Aloha.
All
The
right.
sign that's on the
Okay.
front, he's recommending move to the
Yeah.
non-tower.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
if we were to look at this, okay, this sign would not be here. That sign is not allowed. Okay. This one is allowed by right.
Okay, I
And the
got
one
you.
they're asking for is a variance on this. We're not, the staff is not recommending to it,
I understand now.
okay? And what would, if you wanted to use, where is that? this sign, we're saying that you could move it here and we would support that.
But not the bell over the door.
No, the bell over the door is fine. We'll
Okay.
support that too.
Okay.
Because that, we're saying this is a front facing, okay?
Okay.
Even though this is not a street, it is a entrance there because
Okay.
the street, the parking is gonna be in the back, okay? So it is an entrance.
Okay.
And part of what will take place, when we're doing the the Aloha District ordinances is that we will change the sign ordinances to reflect just what I've said,
Okay.
okay?
So my question was, again, if they move the tower from where it is to the other corner, it would have a facing entrance one side and the other side would be
Okay.
road front.
Move this to over here, you'd still have this right here,
All right.
and that's not a front facing,
Okay.
okay? Street facing, as
Street facing.
Chairman Flowers said.
Okay. Okay, so, the staff has, from the recommendations, they would like us to consider each one of those, separately. The tower first and then the wall mounted signs, correct?
You can do it in the same motion if you would want. Typically, what we do is make a motion to accept the recommendation of the building official.
Okay.
And then you all can have your debate after that motion and second are on the table. You can, at that time, you can debate it, you can amend it, you can do it, make your own findings, however you want to do it, and then at the end, you'll have your vote.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so is there a motion?
Move that, we accept the recommendation of the building official.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Oh, roll call vote?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner DeBrew,
Aye.
Commissioner Hector, Commissioner Bennett,
Aye.
Commissioner Lael, Commissioner Torgerson,
Aye.
Chairman Flowers.
Aye.
all right, and just for the applicant's information, this is a recommendation that will go to the city council at their next meeting, which is
June.
June 7th. June 7th.
Okay. Okay. Second order of new business is, Byron Griffith has, okay,
I'm gonna recuse myself.
okay. So please let the record note that, Chairman DeBreau left the meeting at 6:28 PM. Byron Griffith has filed an application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance, Article 4.19, to allow the construction of a second accessory building, a utility shed. The property address is 79326 Diamond Head Drive East. The tax parcel number is 067J check 3 check 36 check 071.000. The property is in an R2 zoning district. There shall only be one accessory structure on a property. The variance requested is to allow a second accessory structure. The case file number is 2022000206. Okay.
Okay. Mr. Griffith has property, owns two lots on, or conjoined lots on Diamond Head Drive East. He has one existing accessory structure. It is a covered patio, and he has requested to add another structure. The ordinance says you can only have one accessory structure per parcel, so, or per residence, okay? So he's requested a variance to allow two. Okay, and Mr. Griffith is with us tonight.
Okay. Mr. Griffith, would you like to speak? Okay. And please state your name and address for the record.
Brian Griffith, 79326 Diamond Head Drive East. Thank you for the opportunity to stand before you this evening in an attempt to get the variance for which we request, my wife and I have requested. I'm appreciative of the fact that there is a variance process, at least a variance application and request process, as would be noted in such a matter. Everything doesn't fit in one neat box. This particular property is the conjoining of two very large lots. The fact of the matter, the square footage in that conjoined lot structure is about 6 times the average lot in that entire district area, in all of basically the surrounding properties. So I hope the commission would appreciate that if we were trying to jam a second piece of infrastructure on a smaller lot, we wouldn't even be here this evening. My wife and I would under no circumstances attempt to do that for a variety of reasons, not the least of which would be aesthetics and property value. In this particular case, the lots are so large as to place the structure almost 250 feet from the road frontage behind a standing grove of trees. Because that section of Diamond Head, that property, abuts the back end of basically the county, the end of the edge, the eastern edge of the district of Diamond Head proper in Hancock. And on the southern, that would be the eastern flank. On the southern flank is the large conveyance channel that was engineered and installed 2 years ago. There is zero visualization, if you will, from either the south or the east. The fact of the matter is, because of the manner in which Honolulu Circle runs to the west, it's also completely flanked off there. Largely, this structure could never be seen from the road front. So I realize that's a lot of anomalies, and in fact it is. And for those reasons, we would hope that the commission would understand that with this much property, just a little unusual to have that much property in that area, but it would be extremely advantageous to us, obviously. As was required in the application process, it wouldn't be just a shed. It's not one of those drop-in sheds. It would actually be constructed to be similar to the home, aesthetically very pleasing for those that could ever see it. So that's really about it.
Okay.
Would answer any questions.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
So this is what you're thinking about? Is that
Yeah,
what-
basically, yes.
Yeah.
With a metal.
It's a nice looking building.
Yeah, ours is a metal roofed structure, and it'd be metal roof.
I mean, I know what the ordinance says, but the covered patio how far is it from your house?
It's, well, your better question is from the entrance, because you're talking about a connection. I'd actually have to make it to the entrance, probably about 25 feet from the entrance of the house, from a rear entrance of the house.
Okay.
So it's an enclosed, it's a four-sided building though?
No, it's completely open. It's a covered patio.
Oh, it's
When
a
I say
covered-
covered patio, it's
Oh,
just a
covered
rooftop.
patio, yeah.
Mhm.
It's just a sunshade.
But it's not, the roof line doesn't connect to the.
No, sir.
So it's 25, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of roof is on it?
It's a metal roof.
Metal roof?
Yep. Everything matches, all the finishes match. Maintenance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Rich, do you have the staff report?
Yes, I do. Best thing about this is we only have one recommendation, not 2 or 3 of them, okay? And one thing to consider, and that only, okay? Again, there's the 5 criteria, in order to issue a variance that we must consider, okay? And I want to address a couple of things in there. If we're talking about do special conditions exist, okay, which only affect only the land and structure in question and no other surrounding similar properties, okay? Mr. Griffith makes a statement that what he states is, okay, he joined two lots, and if he hadn't joined those two lots, then you could put an accessory structure on each lot. Only if you had a primary structure on each lot, okay? So it's not the same saying that you've got two lots, so therefore I should have two structures. You've got one primary residence, and you actually only have one lot now. You've conjoined them. It's in one lot. You don't have two anymore. You have one, okay? The other thing is, would the literal interpretation of the zoning ordinance deprive the owner of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district? And he speaks to grandfathered, okay? As you all know, anything that was in place before it became a city in 2012 has been grandfathered, and we have no control over that unless they try to change that or try to rebuild it, etc. Okay, and also says that the retention of separable and unique sublots on combined multi-lots, these were allowed on those. The only thing that I'm aware of there is, again, prior to the city being formed, okay, the POA had control then, and they were issuing whether the exceptions were to what were their POA rules there, okay? Okay, and then isolated approval of prior requests. Numerous home sites throughout Diamond enjoy more than one accessory structure. There was a period of time after the city was formed that the ordinance stated that it could not exceed 144 square feet. It never said that you could only have one. Since then, that ordinance has been changed, and the current ordinance states that you can only have one, and you can have it up to 30% of the footprint of your property or 800 square feet maximum, whichever is less. For those that occurred before that ordinance change, yes, there might be some, but since then, there have been zero variances granted for two accessory structures, okay? So we've not done that in the past. And then we get in our special conditions or circumstances not caused by the owner. Again, two lots, lots of room, very lovely place, etc. But if he had one lot, he would only be able to do it. Why are we doing it with two lots? Which they are not two lots, they're one lots, okay? And again, that would have been the case of, yes, you would have had two structures, accessory structures, but you would have had two primary residences. But I'm repeating myself. Okay. So when you look through all this, there's not enough evidence to supporting this variance. The other factor we have to look at is the least possible. It was recommended to Mr. Griffith that a way to solve this problem is to connect the initial accessory structure, which is a covered patio, to the primary structure by way of a breezeway, which would then be an extension of his house, of the primary structure, and then would allow him to put that second accessory structure there. Okay? The staff believes that that is a reasonable alternative to this situation and still stands by that. So the staff's recommendation is to deny this application for this variance.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, I do. Didn't we have, how many lots did the gentleman have? Like, it was about 6 months ago that he requested very similar
Yes, that
thing,
is
and
correct.
He didn't have like 5 lots that he had consolidated?
5, 6, 7, I think he had
He had
7.
seven.
Yeah, he had
7,
like
yes.
an entire half of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And we did not
that is,
approve that.
That's-
Or not approve the recommendation. I mean,
that's
to
correct. You
approve.
did not approve the variance, that is correct.
for the
So,
variance.
and I verified with Mr. Jones earlier, to his and our knowledge, we have never approved a variance for a second structure.
I do understand the ordinance, but what I have an issue with, and probably not a good time to bring it up, is I have a neighbor who has 2 structures. Of course, one of them is connected to the house, but it's like, I mean, a good distance from the house, and that breezeway, to me, that looks, kind of, it's a big eyesore to me to do something like that.
Mhm.
But in his case, it's more of a shorter distance. I don't think it'd be quite much of an eyesore. But I guess I'm getting into the weeds there. So if his patio would have been, 100 feet and it, a long stretch, and I don't know if I would even approve it if they would attach it to the house then. But
Well, okay, very good. I knew I had a slide on this. Okay, that shows the existing structure, and I believe you have this in your
Mhm.
packet, okay? The primary structure, and it's a very short distance. Now, the breezeway does not have to be connected to a door.
It has to be functional.
Okay.
be a functional breezeway.
Okay, a functional, okay, never mind. It has to be a functional breezeway, okay? So I don't know where the exit doors are in comparison to this. And I can appreciate your comment about it's not aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but I am aware of one location in particular that does, I believe they have several structures that are connected by breezeways, okay? And it's all on how you make it look, okay?
Correct.
And it's a way to accommodate the rule without, this ordinance was set up in place so that we didn't have 14 plastic tool sheds back in the back of the buildings, okay? That's basically why it was the intent of it. But the breezeway offers an alternative, although it may not be, I can't see how this would be, never mind, I won't make that statement. That would be our suggestion as an alternative.
Right. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Rich?
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Rich.
As a resident sitting here this evening and hearing there's been 0 variances approved for second structures past the grandfathering, but yet I can achieve the end through cash by making a covered breezeway exist to that rear door and thereby attach the building, and I'm good. Does that not seem odd to you? The 2 things. Why would you allow someone to come here for a variance they cannot get, largely? And then secondly, I can buy my way out of this problem by spending another amount of money just to connect it to the building. I realize where this is going, but I just want to point out the art of the obvious here. That is troubling, to say the least. Don't draw somebody in to an inevitable denial with a variance structure if in fact they're never going to get there on this subject. I mean, if there's never going to be a second structure allowed without connecting the first structure, then just say that in the ordinance. But
Okay, Derek,
Okay.
would you like to address that?
I would like to address that. The suggestion that there is a catch here is absolutely not the case. You would not need a variance if you did not already have an accessory structure. And if that first accessory structure was connected, it's not a catch. It's just you do not then need a variance. So that's my, I just want to, nobody's set you up for an inevitable denial. This commission does have within its power the right to grant variances, but they also have the right to enforce the ordinances as they see them. So the opportunity that the building official gave you is not a catch, it's a opportunity to comply with the law as it exists to not require a variance. So I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, so commissioners, any other questions, or we'll entertain a motion? Do we have a motion to accept the staff report or make any changes to it?
I make a motion to accept the staff report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? All right, so roll call vote.
Commissioner Torgerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Lael, Commissioner Bennett,
Aye.
Chairman Flowers.
Aye.
And again, for everyone's information, that is simply a recommendation of this board. This is not the final decision. This variance will now go to the full council on June
7th.
7th. And I'm going to go get Mr. DeBro.
Okay.
Please let the record note that Commissioner DeBro returned to the meeting at 6:48 p.m.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would just like to remind everyone that the purpose of this board is to uphold the ordinances of the city of Diamond Head, as well as the staff's purpose is to uphold those ordinances, and to make the recommendation to the city council. So as unpleasant as some of these decisions are, I applaud you for upholding the ordinances and thank you for what you're doing. The final decision comes with the council, and they set policy. So if they want to set a different policy, that is their prerogative to do so. But thank you for doing your job.
Thank you, Mr. Rich. Okay. Is there any unfinished business that we need to address? Okay. Any open public comments to non-agenda items?
None.
None? Okay. Commissioners' comments? Okay. All right. Communication and announcements. The next city council meeting is Tuesday, June the 7th, 2022. The next planning commission meeting is Tuesday, June the 28th. Do we have anything on the agenda for that meeting?
Yes, we do. I don't think the deadline is ended yet for the variance request, but we will have the short-term rental ordinance on the agenda for that meeting for you to vote on, and then we'll send it off to the city council after you voted on it. Okay?
Make sure we get them the latest and greatest copy of that as soon as, if they haven't gotten it. Has there been any changes to it or anything?
Oh, yes, there's, y'all were, where we stand with it right now is it has to be put into ordinance format, not just the bullet points, okay? So that's what will be done, and it will be done to you as soon as I can, no later than the Tuesday before the meeting, okay?
Okay.
Yes, a week before the meeting, okay? Hopefully sooner, so that you can look at that and say yes and make comments, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll work through that.
Okay. All right. So, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So motion, or meeting adjourned.